All right, so let's go over our warm-up problems. Who can help me with the first one? Okay, Natalie, what's going on here? This is a what? Two-step equation, right? So what is touching or directly next to the variable? The two. So this could be in a box, right? Okay, and then what's outside that box? Negative. How do I get rid of a negative 12? Okay, so I'm going to add 12, and if I do it to one side, got. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself there. Okay, those cancel. 2x equals 14 plus 12 is 26. And then I divide each side by 2, and what do I get? X equals 13. Very good. How many of you got that one right? Good. Okay, somebody help me with this next one. What's different about this one? It's division, right? Cade, what goes in the box on this one? Uh-huh. Because that's directly connected to that variable, right? And what's outside that box? So I get rid of that by taking away 9, and I do that to both sides. So now I have x divided by 3 equals, what's negative 3 minus 9? Negative 12. So something divided by 3 is negative 12. Why might somebody be tempted to put negative 4 right here? Because you know it's division, and you see a negative 12 and a 3, and those happen to be divisible, right? Would that be the correct answer? No, no. We're going to change this into a what? Multiplication, because multiplication undoes. Multiplication undoes. That's even better. Okay. Division undoes. What you look at that? Undoes. Okay. Negative 12 times 3 is negative 36. Good. How many of you got that right? How many of you got it wrong? Okay. You see where you okay. Watch the video. Okay. If you see where you went wrong, good. All right. So what we're doing today, draw a line underneath that, please. Okay. All right. So we are continuing with two-step equations. Okay. But now we're going to add something. Two-step equation with distribution. Now, if you remember, right before Christmas break, we did some stuff with the distributive property. And the distributive property is a way of getting rid of what? All right, way to pay attention. Yes. Yeah. No, we don't want to get rid of the variable. Parentheses, thank you. Good. So the way you get rid of parentheses is by using the distributive property. Okay? So if, remember, first thing you've got to remember, okay? In order to solve, for a variable, if there are any parentheses, comma, get rid of them. Okay, and the way we're going to get rid of them is by using the distributive property. Okay, so if, for example, I had a problem like this, negative 5, and then parentheses, negative 5x minus 6 equals negative 120. Okay, if I look at this equation, okay, the first thing that I've got to do is get rid of those parentheses. Okay, it's going to be really, really hard. These are some that you might attempt to solve in your head, and you might be able to do it. Okay, but as you can see, these are getting more. It becomes more and more steps, right? Okay, which is why I make you show all those steps. It's why I make you show your work. Okay, it's not to be mean and cruel. Dad don't go home and say, I just need you to understand all of the steps involved. Okay? So in order to first of all, in order to distribute, what do I have to do with those terms inside there? Does anybody remember? How many terms are inside the parentheses, guys? 2. And what separates one term from another? Plus or minus sign. So I'm going to separate those terms. Okay? Now, distribute means to get everything inside and distribute to everything on the inside, right? Nod, please. Okay, good. So what I'm going to do is multiply this. You guys remember doing this? times that. What's negative 5 times negative 5x? Negative 5 times negative 5 is already what? Okay, so 25 and then x, right? And then I have negative 5 times negative 6, and negative times a negative gives me a what? So plus 30 equals, and then bring this down, negative 120. So what have I done? I've turned this semi-complicated equation into a much easier equation because we can solve this by doing what? It's a two-step equation, right? Right? Okay. Now what would go in the box right here? 25x. And what's outside that box? Plus 30. Now how would I get rid of that? Minus 30, so minus 30 on both sides. Those cancel. I have 25x. Now, negative 120 minus 30 would be what? Negative 150. So, 25 times something is 150. And I know it's going to be negative, so I'm going to divide each side by 25. So I know it's going to be negative. Now, what's an easy thing to think about that has to do with the 25? It's something easy. A quarter, right? So how many quarters would go into $1.50? 6. Good. So x would equal negative 6. Now you can divide it if you want to. That's totally fine. But 25s are easy, aren't they? Okay? So this would be x equals negative 6. Okay? You understand how we did that? You understand how we solved for that? Okay? Let's try another one. Okay? You guys try this one on your own. Okay, I'm going to write this one up here. You guys try this one. Negative 2 times 1 minus 6x equals negative 62. Okay? Let's try this one on. What's the first thing I got to get rid of? My mindset should be get rid of what first? Parentheses. You got to get rid of them. By the way, how many of you go through the process of showing all the steps like I do? Okay, why do you think I do that? So that I don't make what? Mistakes. Okay, when I take shortcuts, okay, I tend to make mistakes. My tiny brain cannot handle it if I don't show every single step. Okay? Bowman, what should I do first? Not there anymore. I'm still here. No. Before then, separate the... Okay. Good. Okay. Good. And then I put this in a box, really good, and then add 2 here and add 2 here. So now I have 12x equals, what's negative 62 plus 2? Good. Divide each side by 12. And a negative divided by a positive is a negative. How many 12s go into 60? Negative 5. Good. All right. How many of you got that correct? Did I go fast? Okay, I'm sorry. We'll do one more and then we'll see, make sure we're good. Now I want to show you another one that has one additional step, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, not that difficult. Let's say I've got this. I got negative 6 times 6 plus 4x, but then I have a negative 5 after it, equals negative 89. Okay, when I have something like this, and write this one down because you might see a couple like this, what I first have to do doesn't change the fact that I still have to get rid of parentheses. Anytime you see parentheses when you're solving an equation, your objective should be to get rid of those first before you do anything else. Okay? So the only way for me to get rid of these parentheses is to what? Distribute. Okay? So negative 6 times 6 is what? Negative 36, and negative 6 times positive 4 is what? Negative 24x. Now, did I do anything with this negative 5? I didn't, so I'm just going to bring it down. I didn't do anything with negative 89 either, did I? This is negative 89. Okay. Now, when I get to this point, okay, before I put this in the box, can I combine negative 36 and a negative 5? They're like terms, aren't they? They don't have any variables connected to them. They're just numbers by themselves. So I can combine these two. So a negative 36 and a negative 5. If you owed me 36 bucks and you owed me 5 more, how much would you owe me? You would owe me $41. So I combine those, and I have negative 41 minus 24x equals negative 89. Okay? Now, can I put this negative 24x in the box? Now, here's a mistake that I saw sometimes on our last assignment. Okay? Why is that not okay? Yeah, is that negative part of that term? It is, okay? So I can't just leave that negative out. I have to include that in my box, don't I? I combine these two. Okay, so now what's outside the box here? Negative 41. How do I get rid of negative 41? Okay, so I'm going to add 41 here, and I'm going to add 41 here. What happens to these? Those cancel. So I bring this down, negative 24x. Now, if you owed me $89, but you paid me 41, how much do you still owe me? 48. So this would be negative 48. And now how do I solve? Divide each side by what? By what? Negative 24. And anytime I have a negative divided by a negative, what do I have? Positive. And what's 48 divided by 24? 2. Okay? Lots of steps, lots of stuff. Looks super duper complicated, but are these really that difficult to do? They're not hard, are they? Okay? All right, do I need to do another example, or would you like to start your worksheet? What was the answer to it? Um, I don't know. You'll have to look at somebody else's notes for that.